So everyone is using the box midfield. I mean, everyone. But a lot of teams are falling into the classic position style football trap. Let me explain. In modern football, teams usually have three out of position setups: a high press, a mid block, and a low block. The specifics differ match to match and, of course, team by team. What I want to focus on is the mid block and low block setups. And the team I want to use as an example is Newcastle. They have a 4-5-1 mid block setup and a low block 5-4-1 setup. So what is the goal of a mid block, a low block? I'll be concise, don't worry. When you're going for the high press, you're usually breaking your shape and going man to man in order to win the ball high up the pitch in dangerous areas. While in the low block, you're trying to be compact and try and push your opponents back so you can drop into your mid block, which is the middle ground between the two words. So what's wrong with some teams' attacks like Chelsea's, Man United, and recently Arsenal's? Tempo. Let's bring it back. What's the goal of position style football? A lot of people mistake position style football with slow football. No, you start slow, create some sort of a small advantage by pulling your opponents in, and then create a snowballing effect by pushing the advantage higher on the pitch. I want to use Liverpool's 4-2 win against Newcastle as an example. If you guys didn't know, Liverpool recorded a historical 7.1 XG against Newcastle. The only reason Liverpool didn't score more than 4 goals was because Dubravka was going crazy in this match. As a goalkeeper, if you get scored on 4 times, there is no way you're getting a green score on your score sheet, but he somehow done it. First, let's see how Liverpool use the box midfield. They recently have been using Trent Alexander-Arnold as a deep line playmaker by dropping him between the center backs. He is very capable of playing line breaking passes, aka beating teams mid blocks. Now, there is a small window of time that Liverpool have the advantage before Newcastle can drop into their 5-4-1 low block. So, what does the receiving player do? He immediately attacks Newcastle's backline. While in United, we have a 80 million fidget spinner that fidgets around. Jokes aside, if you're enjoying this video, drop a like and sub. It would be appreciated. Anthony does immediately attack his opponents, but he takes too long. He does a lot of feints, a lot of jab steps, and even if he beats his opponent, the advantage is already gone. It's not just about the player receiving the ball. The other players need to be rapid with their cuts. So for Arsenal, both Saka and Martinelli are good attackers and box crashers, but are Odegaard and Havertz these rapid box crashing midfielders? I know that Curtis Jones and Szoboszlai are, so you see the importance of individual prowess and tendencies, and by extension, coaching. I didn't use them as a positive example if it wasn't obvious. Now, my friend, my G, you went on all about tempo and box crashing, so what if they don't capitalize on this narrow window? Isn't pushing your opponents back good enough? Yeah, but there is always a but. I will use the recent Brighton West Ham game as an example. Even though the game ended 0-0, we saw completely 2 different games in between the halves. West Ham like to drop into a 4-4-2 mid block, and they don't try and win the ball back in their mid block. They rather contain. So naturally, at times Brighton would lose the ball, and at times they would break through, but they weren't upping the tempo. But here's the thing, West Ham are probably the best counter-attacking team from deeper areas. And plus, they don't play for possession at all. So Brighton players were giving them essentially what they want for free. And De Zerbi was visibly furious. If he wanted them to play it safe, he would have dropped them into a 4-2-4 setup, not a box midfield. So, in between the halves, he went and slapped them up, and then Brighton players played the game how the founding fathers intended. If you came this far, comments down below founding fathers, respect emoji. I guess this was my first long formatted video, and every support would be appreciated. If you guys don't know, I usually create like short form content, but I feel like it's time to start creating some more long formatted content. So my short form contents will become more shorty, and my long formatted contents will keep the usual editing style. So thank you for watching, and see you whenever I felt like making another video.